getting ready for the tip here inside the Jack Stevens Center in what is the first ever meeting between the Little Rock Trojans and the Vanderbilt Commodores. The Trojans control the tip after a little bit of a scramble. Caicedo over to the wing. Trojans get it inside. Brianna Crane up and in as the Trojans get on the board first.
Seems like Vanderbilt had a bit of a miscommunication and they were able to slip right in and get the ball to Crane.
Chelsea Hall, as Vanderbilt tries to get the ball inside, and that is Brene Alexander coming up short. Little Rock quickly down the court, and it is Briamber Scott as the starting lineups are brought to you today by Arkansas Federal Credit Union. For the Trojans, Caicedo, Scott, Crane, Battle, and Kristen Vorns. We got a whistle on the play, and as we take a look at the Commodores, Enna Pehadzic, Chelsea Hall, Yabrion Chambers getting her first start for the Commodores, Brene Alexander, and as we mentioned at the beginning of the game, the reigning All-SEC freshman selection, Coy Love. A little bit of a fast start that we've gotten off to here.
Yeah, quick 4 points by Little Rock.
And Joe Foley's got to love to see that. He's not going to love to see that so much as Pehadzic follows her on shot, puts it up and in. As those are her first 2 points in a Commodores uniform.
Great follow-up with the offensive rebound.
Caicedo getting it to Vorns. Looking for someone to get it back to. Caicedo covered up by Hall. Commodores get the tip. That was Love getting her hand in the passing lane. And here comes Caicedo attacking the basket. Kicks it back out. Battle can't handle it. And it's going to be a double dribble on Little Rock. A little bit of out of sync there for the Trojans on that possession.
I believe she thought she had dropped the basketball, but they went ahead and called it a double dribble.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to see here in the early seasons, as of course, this is the first game for Vanderbilt. The Trojans already with 2 under their belt, but everything a little bit different this year. Teams getting off to a little bit of a later start, so you're going to see probably a little bit more of those mistakes that you wouldn't see in a normal season. And we got a whistle on that one. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Great chest-up defense by Briamber Scott. Showed her hands and was able to get the call.
Defense, of course, has been the calling card of Joe Foley teams during his tenure here at Little Rock. Always prides himself on putting out one of the best defensive teams, not just in the Sun Belt, but in the country.
And I believe that's what separates him from a lot of coaches, is that he emphasizes on defense. Great move by Briamber Scott there.
You saw she wanted the and one, not going to get it, gets the basket anyway. It's Little Rock out to a quick 6-2 lead. Pehadzic in the corner. She's going to go baseline, pulls up for the jumper, comes up short. And Little Rock, they want to run with it. Caicedo,
I believe.
She's got Battle in the corner, couldn't handle it. Battle to the top of the key now. Back over to Caicedo, 17 on the shot clock. Caicedo getting into the lane. Little up and under. What a beautiful move.
That was a great
from
move.
Her.
Great with her being so small. She's able to get through those small spots.
I'm talking about a move. Chelsea Hall took it right at the basket, a little bit out of control. And again, Little Rock out in transition. Crane gonna pull the 3. That one's just a little bit long. Battling inside, and
great hustle by Barnes there.
Kristen Bourne's able to track it down. Fresh shot clock for Little Rock, and that is Brianna Crane taking it at the basket, going to draw the foul. A frenetic pace here. I'm out of breath just watching.
I'm loving the pace here. I'm loving it.
That is freshman Bella LaChance entering the game for Vanderbilt. Her first appearance for the Commodores as Brene Alexander exits. She's going to get a breather. Crane makes the first of 2. She had a team-high 18 points in the Trojan 61-52 win over Memphis earlier this week. Joe Foley called her an old-school player. Nothing flashy, nothing really all that outstanding, but she's going to be a steady presence here on the team this year.
It'll be interesting to see her come back from such a great game against Memphis Tuesday night. I'm pretty sure she'll grit her teeth and get it going.
We have our first substitution for Little Rock. Sophomore Angelique Francis into the game now as Briamber Scott heads to the bench. Francis more of a defensive presence for Joe Foley's squad, not really going to be a real offensive threat, but she is going to be a lockdown defender as she's up against the freshman Bella LaChance, and that is Coy Love working on the outside into the hands of Pehadzic. She lets it fly with 7 on the shot clock off the back iron. And as we said, Francis, a defensive player, she rips down the defensive board, and Caicedo wants to run with it. Picked off by Love. Caicedo had 10 assists against Memphis. Probably an ill-advised pass there, and Pehadzic again letting the triple go and comes up short.
Great pace going right now.
Well, this is something that Vanderbilt really wants to do. Coach Stephanie White told us this morning that any shot's a good shot. She wants them to take a shot before they turn the ball over. Probably going to see a little bit of a faster pace for them as Teal battle. We didn't see that a whole lot from her last year. Added that three-point ball to her repertoire as the Trojans out to a fast 13-2 lead over the Commodores here inside the Jack Stevens Center. We'll have more to field a team. Happy to get some action in here today as they bring the ball up the court looking for a bucket. They are down 13-2 to Little Rock here in the early going of the first quarter as Coy Love working on Brianna Crane. She makes it to the basket.
That was a great move by Coy Love, between the legs and right to the basket.
Now, Stephanie White told us they feel like they have an advantage in Coy Love. She's got the size, so if you put a guard on her, she can go above her. If you put a post player on her, she has that quickness to go around them. And you see Caicedo trying to guard her. It's going to be a traveling violation against Love as Little Rock stepped up to double team her.
I believe that's what makes it such a good matchup, with Little Rock having 4 pretty good sized guards on the floor and a couple forwards that'll be able to match up against Love.
Love against Caicedo. A little bit of a height mismatch as Caicedo, the smallest player on the floor here today at 5'3", but she is a spark, and Joe Foley loves what she brings to the table.
She is. Great defensive player and just a great energetic one.
Francis back to Caicedo on the top of the key. Spins her way into the lane. Can't get the finish, but what a move from Caicedo. Ball into the hands of Love as she brings it up court now. Working against Battle. And Brianna Crane with the block. She had 4 of those earlier this week against Memphis. Gets the first one of the day there on Love.
That was great rotation. She came over a little late, but she was able to get that block.
A really nice job of getting that block and keeping her body away from it to make sure that she didn't get the foul. She exits. She's going to get a breather as Darielle Johnson comes in. Kristen Vorns will head to the bench. Breamber Scott also re-entered for the Trojans. Chelsea Hall now into the hands of Bella LaChance, the freshman. A little bit of a collision on the screen. LaChance. Stephanie White said that she is a true point guard. Bertram's going to let that ball fly. The sophomore transfer from Florida getting her first action for Vanderbilt. She was just cleared by the NCAA yesterday into the game early on here today. And what a turnaround for her. She played her freshman season at Florida, transferring inside the SEC. Caicedo to Battle. Battle going baseline.
Battle with a nice move up against Love there.
Yeah, showing absolutely no fear on that baseline drive as Battle gets her first 2 points of the day. Back into the hands of Love. She goes right at the basket. Drops it off to Brene Alexander for 2.
Great dish off. Post player stepped up and she dished it right under the goal for a layup.
That was Yabrion Chambers, number 5, instead of Brene Alexander. But Chambers really showing no fear there. Getting her first start today for Vanderbilt. She's going to head to the bench now for Brene Alexander as she re-enters. And Alexander started the first 7 games of the season for Vanderbilt last year. Had an Achilles injury, missed the rest of the season, and Stephanie White happy to have her back. Caicedo getting it inside to Breamber Scott. Tipped away by the Commodores, and Love brings it up court. She's going to go ahead and rise up for 2. Short on the jumper. Hall gets the rebound. Short inside the lane, and Breamber Scott rips down the rebound. Caicedo running again.
Pushing the pace.
Maybe a little bit out of control there. A scramble. We're going to say it's off Vanderbilt. It's going to stay with the Trojans with 23 left on the shot clock, and Little Rock leading 15-6 here in the first quarter, 3:48. If you're Joe Foley, I don't think you could have gotten off to a better start.
This is great pace. I think Caicedo is pushing the ball pretty well, and everyone's playing at that pace here.
Bournes back up top to battle. And the thing I've really kind of noticed about Little Rock right now is they're not intimidated by Vanderbilt at all. Joe, we talked about, defensive being a hallmark of the Joe Foley teams. Another hallmark is playing really tough offensive or really tough opponents in the early season.
Kristen wasn't able to handle that one, but I believe that was a great move by Chelsea.
Love. Scott steps into the passing lane. 4-on-1 for the Trojans, off to battle. Little jump stop, she's gonna get fouled. Couldn't convert on the basket.
Battle was a little bit under the goal there, so I think she had to get her feet up under.
Of course, Teal Battle had a fantastic season from the free throw line last year. She was 32nd in the nation and second in the Sun Belt in terms of free throws made, with 134 last year. She gets that one to fall in. Battle 2 for 2 from the line. Free throw, such a mental thing.
It is. You just got to focus in, especially playing against big schools. You just get a little bit in your head.
Renee Alexander long on the three-point attempt. Scott bringing it up the court now, straight to the rack.
Seeing some quick shots here by Vanderbilt.
Love spikes that ball in frustration as Scott going to the free throw line. Little Rock already 4 for 4 from the charity stripe today. Scott sat out the 2019-20 season after transferring from Mississippi State. Came back to her hometown of Little Rock. She's a graduate of Little Rock Central, just down the road here from the Jack Stevens Center.
Seems like she might have a bit of a chip on her shoulder playing against the SEC school today.
Well, obviously she's seen Vanderbilt before from her time with the Bulldogs, and it's always something a little bit more special playing a team that and doing it in your home city.
Home city, a little gritty.
Love on the wing. Looking for someone to clear out. Alexander now. Love from the wing working against Battle. Double team from Little Rock. This time Love is going to get the foul, and it looks like it's going to go on Kristen Bournes.
You see, when Love gets the ball in her hands, Little Rock is pretty much all in help.
And a double triple teaming Love so far. Good defense from the Trojans, though. That's only the second personal foul of the game as Chelsea Hall gets that one to fall. She started all 30 games last year for the Commodores, their most experienced player on the roster this year. Scott goes baseline, little out of control, kicks it out. It's chased down by Battle. Caicedo able to grab it before Bella LaChance got to it. Taking it back inside and showing absolutely no fear. She used all the rim for that one.
Her being so small is exciting to see because she slides through some of the smallest cracks on the floor.
Love. Looks like they're going to get Battle on the region. Little pump fake, try to take it to the rack. Angelique Francis and Dariel Johnson return as Battle and Bournes head to the sideline. Little Rock with a substantial 21-8 lead here inside the Jack Stevens Center. 1:56 to play in the first quarter. Love trying to work, find some space.
Nice in and out move.
This time she's going to get called for the charge.
That was great help by Scott there. Slid over and put her chest up and went ahead and took the contact.
That's a second personal foul on Love, and she is going to head to the bench as Yabrion Chambers re-enters. And Love, maybe a case of trying to do a little bit too much. Caicedo over to Crane.
Great screen by Francis in order for Crane to get that shot off.
Crane so good from that short range jumper. Bailey Bertram That was from all the way back in Nashville. In and out. Vanderbilt's going to draw the foul on the rebound, but Bailey Bertram really has, there is no point at which she cannot pull up for three. Bertram, of course, Briley Bertram, excuse me, we mentioned transfer from Florida. She broke the national high school record for both boys and girls in three-pointers made.
Shoot or shoot.
533 career three-pointers in high school. Chambers makes one of two. Johnson pulls down the rebound. Vanderbilt coming with a double team of Caicedo at three-quarter court. Able to dribble her way out of it.
Vanderbilt went to some type of zone here. Believe it's a matchup.
They're trying to slow down this offense of Little Rock that's hitting 67% from the floor here in the first quarter. As Caicedo way short on the three. Great hustle by Francis. 3 on the shot clock. Scott's got to let it fly. That one short as Bartram comes down with the rebound. Tries to get it ahead to Pehadzic, but just out of her reach, and it's going back over to the Trojans.
Just a little bit too high, but you can see the pace that Vanderbilt is going for here.
It feels like their intensity is picked up here in the last couple minutes, but still struggling to get things going for the Trojans. Francis and Johnson head to the sideline. Bournes and Battle come back in for the final 45 seconds. Trojans leading 23-9. Trying to extend that lead just before the end of the first quarter. Battle back to Caicedo, over to Scott. Nothing but net from Scott in the corner.
Scott is money from those corners.
Leading the team with 15.5 points per game. She's got 9 here in the first quarter as Pehadzic kicks it out to Bartram. Now it's Alexander working on Scott, getting her way into the lane off the glass. A little bit too strong. Bournes pulls down the rebound, immediately double teamed. Scramble underneath the basket, and that is going to do it for the first quarter of action here inside the Jack Stevens Center. Little Rock with a 26-9 lead over the Vanderbilt Commodores. We will have second quarter action coming up after the break. In 15, when they were knocked out of the second round of the SEC tournament by Kentucky, and I'm guessing that Stephanie White was hoping that their trip to Little Rock today would have started out a little bit better than this as they trail 26-9 in the second quarter.
Pretty sure they tried to run a quick flare screen there. She was a bit short.
The key word in that sentence was quick. That seems to be what Vanderbilt is trying to do with everything, is just make sure everything is quick.
Bit of a green light shooting thing here going.
Is that something that you want to see, though, when you're down 26-9, or is it something you have to do?
Sometimes you just got to keep your confidence going. Eventually, they might fall.
Of course, Vanderbilt, much like Little Rock, a little bit of a younger roster, because even though the upperclassmen on the roster are in the starting lineup, not a lot of actual game experience, as Brianna Crane comes up a little bit short on that one. Alexander wants to run. See what the call is. They said it was tipped, and it is going to go back to the Trojans. It's already the 5th turnover for Vanderbilt here this afternoon. Caicedo to Scotts on the top of the key, over to Battle, and Vanderbilt staying in that zone. Caicedo cutting right through it.
She's still finding her ways through those holes. Vanderbilt's going to have to close that up here soon.
Caicedo with 6 points. She's shooting 50% from the floor. Bartram working around the top of the key into the hands of Pehadzic. Chambers now. Chelsea Hall finding some room, getting to the rack, but just can't get it to fall. Trojans off and running, and it's Bournes. And Stephanie White wants
Great
a
pass by
timeout.
Caicedo.
Little Rock has built a 30-9 lead here inside the Jack Stevens Center. They're shooting 61% from the floor. We'll have more after this. Coaches in wins, as you take a look, 802 wins for Coach Foley, a multiple award winner in terms of Sun Belt Coach of the Year.
And there we are, Hall with the great finish at the basket.
And that's something that Vanderbilt definitely happy to see out of the timeout. And there's still a long way to go in this game, but it's worth mentioning that Little Rock, looking for only their 5th all-time win against teams from the SEC. They're 4-36. I'm not sure they ever had a 19-point lead in any of those other games. Vanderbilt very up and active off that bench.
Vanderbilt is a bit excited now. Got a good bucket to go. We'll see what they do here in this possession.
A little bit of a slower pace from Chelsea Hall as she brings it up the court. No pressure from the Trojans. Coy Love playing with 2 fouls. Pehadzic. There's a 3 ball. That's their first of the afternoon.
The lid is off the rim now.
Let's see if that gets things going for the Trojans. Or excuse me, for the Commodores. Crane in the corner. Vanderbilt still in that zone. Drawing the double on Scott. Caicedo looking for some space.
And there's that mid-range by Crane. It's just so hard to stop.
You said it earlier, she is money, and that shot just so smooth. She was 8 of 13 from the floor against Memphis in 37 minutes.
That was pretty impressive by Love. Great in and out move.
One thing that Stephanie White said about Love is she can just make plays.
Very crafty with the basketball. Still here by Hall.
Hall taking it all the way to the rim, gets the bucket and the
and
foul,
one.
and all of a sudden Vanderbilt has some life. They have made 3 of their last 3, and they've cut it to 32-18, and that doesn't exactly sound too close, but when you're down 30-9, 32-18 is a whole lot better.
Yeah, you got to show a little grit.
You mentioned
Hall makes that free throw.
Yeah, the steal by Hall. She had 49 a year ago. Hall, one of the motor players on this Commodores team. Battle in the corner. It's going to be an over and back call.
It's another turnover by Battle here.
As Battle's 3rd turnover, the Trojans 6th. Then all of a sudden, it seems like Little Rock is the team that's a little bit out of sorts. Hall inbounding under the basket is Emily Bowman in for the first time, the 6'6" freshman for Vanderbilt. Pehadzic taking it to the rim. They're going to get a blocking foul on Francis.
And another and one here by Vanderbilt.
That one gets Joe Foley up off the bench. I don't know if he's yelling more at Francis or at the referee, but he's not happy.
They cut the lead here to 10 pretty quick.
And Vanderbilt in the middle of a 7-0 run over the last 52 seconds, and here they come with pressure in the backcourt. Almost another turnover, and it is going to be another turnover off the foot of Briamber Scott. Joe Foley wants a timeout as Vanderbilt on a 13-2 run over the last 2:18. They've made 5 of 5 field goals, and Joe Foley definitely wants to talk this one over. Guy in Toledo. Oh, and just by the way, she is a national champion from Purdue back in 1999. So Stephanie White, a very accomplished player, very accomplished coach. Renee Alexander in and out. Bowman gets the rebound. Her first 2 points of her college career, and Vanderbilt all the way out onto the floor. Their bench ecstatic after that.
And another and one here by Vanderbilt.
They've cut the lead down to 6 at 32-24 at the 5:43 mark in the second quarter. Bowman short on the free throw. Nobody rebounds. Pehadzic has a wide open look at the basket. Everybody was so busy boxing out that Pehadzic able to sneak in there and grab the rebound. And it's 32-26. Trojans hanging on.
Vanderbilt here is trying to slow the game down. They went to about a 3/4 court press, and back into this matchup zone, which is slowing everything down.
And definitely a difference to how they started, where they were off and running, as Crane works it down, can't get it to fall. Nice move, couldn't come away with the bucket, and now it's Vanderbilt off and running. Coy trying to slow it down. Caicedo got her hands in there. Pehadzic will reset, 20 on the shot clock.
Love trying to get everything going here, get everything settled down, get the play going.
Getting it into the hands of Hall, the most experienced player on the floor for the Commodores, down to 5 on the shot clock. Pehadzic trying to find some room, gotta let it go. Hits the rim, and the Trojans will rebound. Here they come. Briamber Scott had battle open. Ooh. Scott took that ball directly at the 6'6" freshman Bowman. Ended up drawing the foul.
Scott is fearless for that one. They got a 6'6" post player going head up with her.
It's a smart move from a redshirt junior going up against a freshman. Scott's got the advantage. She knows Bowman's taller, but maybe not the best defensive position as Scott gets that free throw to fall. That's going to snap a scoring drought of just over 2.5 minutes for the Trojans. Scott gets both from the line. And that's something that's important when you're not shooting well from the floor, is making sure you take advantage of the opportunities from the free throw line when you get them. Love split step, tries to go between the defenders. It's going to be a turnover. That's going to be her 4th. Love frustrated. Did you see her looking over at the bench talking to head coach Stephanie White? Love only with 4 points today so far. Battle on the wing. Back up top to Caicedo. Skip pass.
And from the corner
Scott
again.
Into the corner.
That is Scott's shot there down in the corner.
And that is the first field goal for Little Rock in 3 minutes. They've given themselves a little breathing room here at 37-26 with 3:50 in the second quarter. Love back out to Hall. She's going to pull the trigger. 3 ball for Chelsea Hall.
She doesn't always have to score, but she definitely steps up and makes plays when Vanderbilt needs it.
And that is one of the things that Stephanie White told us is over the last couple years, Hall has had to be the go-to playmaker. This year, they got Brene Alexander back from injury, so it takes a little bit of the pressure off Hall. Gives her a little bit more space, as you saw there, and now she's bringing it up floor. Brene Alexander, back-to-back threes for Vanderbilt.
And an assist by Hall. Usually she's somewhere in the mix when a great play is made.
Yeah, 8th in the SEC in assists last season. Caicedo, back at the top, over to Battle. Looked like she thought about the 3. Getting in the lane, trying to draw the foul. No call, but it's going to stay with the Trojans. Daryl Johnson coming in for Kristen Bournes. Caicedo. Another good look at the basket. Couldn't convert on that one. Here comes Love. Little Euro step from Love. You don't see that a whole lot in the women's game.
She is crafty.
I can hear the impressed in your voice from that.
It is.
Aren't you glad you're up here and don't have to go guard her?
Of course.
Chelsea Hall. It's going to be an offensive foul on Brene Alexander on the screen. Second personal on Alexander.
Might have slid over just a bit on that screen.
Caicedo to Battle. Back up to Caicedo. Vanderbilt still working in what looks like a 3-2 zone. Skip past the Battle, 9 on the shot clock. That ball rattled around and out for Battle as Chelsea Hall brings it up for Vanderbilt, taking it right at the rim. Nice defense from Caicedo. They're going to call that a jump ball.
Great one-on-one defense there by Caicedo. I think Hall was looking for a foul
She
there.
was definitely looking for a foul. When we talk about how crafty Love is on defense, Caicedo very crafty on defense. She's quick. She has fast hands. You saw her get him in there to tie that ball up as she goes cross court to Scott. Little short. Darielle Johnson getting on the floor, and it's a jump ball that'll go to Vanderbilt.
Johnson gets her hand on a lot of basketballs when it comes off the rim.
Joe Foley called her very long. She's got those long arms. She's just a long body. Really good on the glass.
Very lanky and active.
17 rebounds on Tuesday against Memphis. We've got a whistle from Eric Baker. Not quite sure what the call was.
Getting the shot clock here.
Resetting the shot clock. Well, as we have a pause in the action, Little Rock leading 37-32 with just over a minute and a half left here in the first half. They haven't scored, though, in the last 2.5 minutes, and Vanderbilt in the middle of a 6-0 run. They've hit 4 of their last 5, and it's been a much more competitive game here in the second quarter than when we started.
I believe Vanderbilt is getting it to their pace, getting some of the nerves out. First game jitters.
Love. Absolutely no jitters from Love. She's let that one fly. It's a little bit short. Not with Scott ripping down the rebound. It's going to be a foul on number 5, Yabrion Chambers.
That is her second foul. I believe that coach will probably pull her here.
And there's right on cue. Chambers heads to the bench, and Bowman comes back in. Bowman averaged a double-double in high school. She was a finalist for the 7A Player of the Year in Alabama. Now finding herself going up against Darielle Johnson.
And there's that pull-up once again by Crane.
And such a pretty shot. Love to Pehadzic on the wing. Guarded by Scott. Love working against Battle. Pull up from the elbow.
And she has the green light. Isn't afraid to shoot it. Nice foot fake with the pull-up by Love.
Well, she scored over 20 points 4 times last year for the Commodores. 4 double-doubles. The first player to win back-to-back SEC Freshman of the Week honors in program history. I think that earned you a green light.
That was a nice move by Scott.
Speaking about earning a green light, Scott working her way in.
Split the defenders there and got an easy layup to the basket.
Where she practiced with the team last year, had to sit out due to NCAA transfer rules, but what Joe Foley loves is what she brings to the table in terms of her SEC experience and knowing what it's like to play in big games. And the Trojans, with 4 seconds on the clock, Love lets it fly short on the 3 ball. That's going to do it for the first half as Little Rock leads Vanderbilt 41-34 here inside the Jack Stevens Center in the first 2 meetings between these 2 programs. We'll have a recap of the first half after this. The things that is interesting as this season progresses. You hope that everyone's able to maintain their schedule, but how things play out, especially once you get into conference play, is just going to be havoc, quite honestly. Little Rock starts the scoring in the second half with a bucket by Brianna Crane.
Pretty quick, great down screen by Battle there.
Pehadzic takes it to the rim, comes up short. The ball is going to be with the Trojans. A little bit of pressure from Alexander.
They're extending that out a bit, that zone.
Scott over to Battle. Back out front to Caicedo. 10 on the shot clock for the Trojans. They're leaving Caicedo wide open at the top of the key. 6, 5. Crane comes up short. Vorn's not able to come up with the rebound. Instead, it's Coy Love.
She has Caicedo.
Good hands by Caicedo, and she's going to push it up court. Got Vorn's on the other side. She's going to take it herself under the rim. Not going to get the bucket, but going to get the foul.
And her being so small put her in the position to be able to strip that ball away from Love there.
I think it surprised Love a little bit. She kind of started back like, what just happened? But yeah, at 5'3", Caicedo really in the perfect position to just kind of stick her hand in there and knock the ball away.
Love was definitely on her way to the paint with that one.
It reminds me of a college Rajon Rondo. He was so good at poking that ball out, kind of just stuck his hands in there. Can't convert on the free throw. Caicedo, 10 points in Tuesday's win over Memphis. 0 of 2 from the free throw line. See a little frustration there. She knows she's got to take advantage of those when she gets the opportunity. But Joe Foley, one of the things that he said about her before the season started is that she was quick, able to pressure the ball, and will cause frustration. I think all of that was on display with that steal. Love back with the ball at the top of the key. Pehadzic getting it down to Chambers. She kicks it back out. Little Rock closes the gap on Love as Hall works against Caicedo, able to draw the foul.
And her being so small, once again, she was right up under Hall there, so resulted in a foul there for Caicedo.
Chelsea Hall really the vocal leader of this Vanderbilt team. One of the more experienced players on the roster, the 5'7" senior out of Boca Raton, Florida. Gets both from the free throw line. 12 points so far today in this one. Vanderbilt extending the defense. Caicedo walking it up, tries to get it into Vorns. It's picked off by Pehadzic. She's going 1-on-3. Able to take it to the rack and score.
Very crafty move, little Euro.
Seen a lot more of that in the women's game in recent years. Caicedo kicks it out to Vorns in the short corner. Gonna get called for the travel. Vorns looked like she was trying to kick it out away from the double team. Just got a little bit too antsy with her feet. Trojans have turned the ball over 9 times today.
How you seeing the stagger screen here?
Renee Alexander can't convert. Breamber Scott pushing the pace, going 1-on-2 against Love and able to draw the foul.
That foul is number 23, Coy Love. That's her third personal. Second team foul in the first quarter.
Love's third personal, and we saw Scott do it earlier against Emily Bowman. Another smart play from her, just taking it right at Love. Either she's going to get the bucket or she's going to get the foul. And not only do you get a chance at the free throw line, but you've also taken Vanderbilt's best player off the court. Can't convert on the free throw. Little Rock in the middle of a scoring drought. They haven't gotten a point in the last 2:09. That's going to come to the end with that free throw by Scott. She now has 17. Bartram going to pull the trigger on the 3. Off the back of the iron. Caicedo able to track it down. Pulls it back out of the top of the court. Battle 15 feet off the front of the iron, but Scott there for the rebound on the other side.
Scott got position on the offside and was able to put that one right back up.
The Trojans only with 4 offensive rebounds today, but that was a big one. Defensive rebound by Battle. Little Rock leading 46-38. Just under 7 minutes left in the third quarter. In this first ever matchup between the two programs. Crane got a great look at the basket, but couldn't finish at the rim. Renee Alexander out to Pehadzic. 3 ball, no good.
Very fast pace here.
And Scott off and running again with the left hand.
That was a great push by Scott. She saw that the defense was on their heels and she took it right to him.
This basketball is always a game of runs. Currently Vanderbilt without a bucket in their last 4 attempts. Make that 5 attempts. Chambers able to pull down the rebound. Getting it down to Chelsea Hall. That's going to be a foul as Hall. Little bit of frustration. Scott's going to get the foul. And we're going to get a pause in the action in what has been very fast pace over the last couple minutes.
And that's on Scott there, who has just tied her career high points with that last layup.
21 points for Scott. She's 7 of 11 from the floor. Of course, Scott had 19 points in the season opener against Rice. Certainly looks like she loves playing back in her home city. Bartram on the 3. It's going to be off the hands of Emily Bowman over the back of Daryl Johnson. We've mentioned Bartram's penchant for shooting 3s. That's all she's taken so far today. Not hit one yet, but the Commodores hoping that she will become a 3-point specialist, able to spread the floor a little bit. Trojans working the ball inside, back out to Caicedo. Thought about it for a second. Decides to work it back inside to Battle, who draws the foul on Bowman.
And sometimes that's what happens. You pass up a shot to get an even better one, which threw the ball to Till in the middle and was able to get a foul called there.
One thing about this Little Rock team is they're not fantastic 3-point shooters. You're not going to see that be a big part of their game this year. Joe Foley said they're a really good mid-range team. That's something you don't see a whole lot. As Battle hits that free throw. I think Joe Foley would be more than happy to take a 3-point attempt and instead have 2 free throw shots from Battle, given how successful she's been at the line. Scott goes to the bench. Angelique Francis back in. Trojans as a whole 11 from 14 from the line today. A little bit of miscommunication on the back cut between Alexander and Bartram, and it's going to be a turnover from the Commodores.
Trojans pretty much covered that, and I think she was wondering why she threw it there.
Little Rock up 50-38 here in the third quarter. Just over 5.5 to play inside the Jack Stevens Center. Crane from the baseline comes up short. It's going to stay with the Trojans. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Little Rock looking for only their 5th ever win over an SEC program. The last time they took down an opponent from the SEC was all the way back in 2015. It's when they beat Texas A&M 69-60 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Still a lot of game left to play here today, but
and Vanderbilt went man here.
Caicedo kicks it out to Battle.
A bit long there for Battle.
Off the back of the iron. Alexander to Hall, working on Francis. Tough shot from Hall.
Shot that one right over Johnson. And Little Rock pushed it right back.
Angelique Francis out in front of the pack. Transition bucket for Little Rock. Heads up play from the sophomore. Alexander going baseline. Draws the double team off the back iron, and Francis pulls down the rebound. Caicedo pushing it.
And this is Little Rock's game here in transition, getting stops on defense and pushing the basketball back down the floor.
Stephanie White wants a timeout as Little Rock has stretched their lead to 14 points here inside the Jack Stevens Center. They're up 54-40 with 4.5 to play. We will have more after this.
On your feet, who can cheer the loudest? Come on, the winner gets a Hungry Howard's pizza. Come on.
Ball on offense.
Caicedo playing her first year for the Trojans out of New Mexico Junior College. Vanderbilt won from their last 8 of the floor. Getting the ball in the low post to Love. Goes up against 2. She's going to draw the foul. Battle raises her hand, but it looks like they're going to give it to Breamber Scott.
I believe Battle was taking the blame there a bit because Love was able to sneak in behind her.
We're going to take a quick timeout here. We will have more third quarter action after this. On the road to Chattanooga, followed by VCU. Of course, the Commodores had the first 3 games of the year canceled, so just getting their season started now. Coy Love, been a quiet game for her, only her 7th point of the afternoon.
And Vanderbilt just put the guards in for rebounding, so we might see a press here.
Stephanie White, and you are right, as Renee Alexander on the inbounds pass and Chelsea Hall in the front court. Stephanie White trying to change something up as her team is trailing by 12 here in the third quarter. Teal Battle wide open, going to take that, comes up short. Dariel Johnson battling underneath the board, can't get it. And it's Vanderbilt ball as Chelsea Hall brings it up. Kick out to Love. Love working on Crane. Pehadzic calling for it. Renee Alexander, kick out.
And there goes.
3 ball is good for Pehadzic. It was a really nice sequence there from Vanderbilt.
Nice driving kick there.
Battle taking it to the rim on Bowman, the freshman with the block. Scramble underneath the basket. It's going to be Vanderbilt basketball.
Possession, Vanderbilt.
It feels like the atmosphere has calmed down here a little bit, just coming out of that timeout. Bournes re-enters for Johnson. Hall at the top of the key, over to Love. 15-footers off the back of the rim. Bowman there for the offensive board and the stick back. A little bit of frustration there between Caicedo and Battle as Battle turns around and kind of looks at her like, where was that? A little bit of...
That one got Coach Foley up out of his seat there.
I know he's not the most relaxed coach. He looks kind of relaxed for the most part, but that one definitely got him up, got him talking. Trojans still with a 7-point lead. Make that a 5-point lead is
great footwork.
Love.
That was pretty impressive footwork by Love there.
Love, of course, a 2020 all-SEC all-freshman.
And a great pass there by Caicedo down to Barnes.
54-49 here in the third quarter. Renee Alexander.
I think Scott was looking for a charge there. But a great pull-up by Alexander.
Vanderbilt really missed Alexander's presence last year. She tore her Achilles in the 7th game of the season, missed the rest of the year. She had scored in double figures in all 6 of the games to start the 2019-2020 season before getting injured. As Bourne's got the shot, she won it, but it rimmed out. And Vanderbilt with a chance to cut it within 3 points.
And you couldn't ask for a better shot there in the middle of the floor.
Looks like they're going to get Caicedo there on a reach-in. Take another look at it. Got her hand in there. A little bit of a tie-up, loose ball, but she's going to get charged with the foul. Her 3rd. Little Rock has 11 here today, 4 here in the quarter. Pass out top goes to Bowman. Gets it quickly into the hands of Love. 16 on the shot clock. Behind the back. Out of control from Love, and the ball goes back over to Little Rock.
She's great with the basketball. Even though she lost it there, it's just great to see that she has those type of moves for in the future.
Well, one of the things that Stephanie White wants to see from her is just to become more consistent. She says that Love should average a double-double during the season. You've certainly seen that potential from her here this afternoon. Crane drawing a double team. Back over to Caicedo. 10 on the shot clock. Caicedo going to pull the trigger on the 3 and buries it.
And those are the type of shots Joe Foley loves to see his point guards take. Coming down the end of the shot clock, spot up shot. Great one by Caicedo.
Well, on the other side, that's a dagger for Stephanie White. You have played good defense, you work it all the way down to the shot clock, and then to have her hit a 3. Breander Scott with the block. Really nice defense there from the redshirt junior. Caicedo with the steal, all alone. Gets the bucket. 10-point lead for the Trojans just before the end of the 3rd quarter. Bella LaChance.
Caicedo pretty tough on defense here.
5 seconds left in the quarter. Shot clock is off. Little Rock. Thought they were going to call a foul for a second. They're going to call a travel on Pehadzic. 0.8 left in the quarter.
Quick sub here by Ben.
Stephanie White wants a sub. She's going to send Hall back in for Alexander. Alexander looked like she's been a little shaken up since that block. Little Rock inbounds the ball, and that is going to be it for the end of the 3rd quarter. Trojans leading by 10 with 1 quarter to play. We will have 4th quarter action from the Jack Stevens Center coming up. As he had this team ready to play today.
Just a great coach, great person, and he's a competitor, and competitors win, so.
Don't let him fool you over there. We talked about sometimes he just sits and looks like he's relaxing, but Joe Foley hates to lose more than he loves to win. That's something that he told us before the season. He can be happier in a loss than he can in a win just based on how the team has played, but you have to imagine if the Trojans can hold on to this one, he's going to be pretty happy here after this one. As we get started here in the 4th quarter. Bourne's not able to convert on the jumper. Here comes Love bringing the ball up the court for Vanderbilt. Pehadzic over to Love on the wing. She'll pull up, comes up short, chases down her own shot.
Great flare screen.
Hall kicks it back out to the top of the key. Love working against Battle, draws the double team, not able to convert, and Battle comes down with the rebound. Caicedo to Crane, kicks it back out for Scott. Short on the 3 Crane right there for the rebound, and they're going to get a foul on Vanderbilt.
Also number 1.
It's going to be on Enna Pehadzic.
Going to the free throw line for the Trojans to shoot 2
Her
free
first
throws.
personal foul of the game. It's going to send Brianna Crane to the line for 2. Crane with 14 points here today as she misses the front end. 6 of 12 from the floor, so a good shooting day for Crane.
Just that solid pull-up game that she has. We've seen it all day today.
Makes 1 of 2. Hall not able to get chance on the backdoor cut over to Love. Down and out for Love. Bowman there for the rebound. Offensive board and the deuce for the freshman. Bowman with 4 points today. Vanderbilt brought her in with the knowledge that she was going to sit behind some of the more seasoned players, not going to get that opportunity due to injuries on the Vanderbilt squad. Gets the ball again. That time, Hall going to be called for the offensive foul as Scott stood her ground.
Scott with the layup there and then came back on the defensive end and was able to take that charge. So it's great to see from Little Rock's player there.
Little Rock has been able to draw multiple offensive fouls against Vanderbilt here this afternoon, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Defense is what Joe Foley hangs his hat on, and Little Rock has frustrated Vanderbilt. They have gotten their hands in passing lanes. They have created turnovers. They have been pesky is the word that I would use to describe the defense. Is Crane. There's that little pull-up jumper that you've been talking about.
That was a nice little pick and roll there. Love stepped up and they were able to dish it down. But a 3 right back to answer it. That was a great shot.
Those are Bartram's first points in a Vanderbilt uniform. It's fitting that they're a 3. Bourne's going against Bowman, can't finish. Taps back her own rebound, but it's into the hands of Bartram.
And that's one that Coach Foley's saying she has to make. And there's Love there.
So it's
Great 3-point shot.
making a basket when Vanderbilt needed it the most from Coy Love, their reigning All-SEC freshman selection. It's 66-59, Trojans leading here in the 4th. Little Rock trying to pick up just their 5th ever win against an SEC program.
There's
Crane
another pull-up.
wide open in the middle of the paint. Little Rock with 38 points in the paint here this afternoon. Bartram kicks it back out to Love. She'll take another 3. That one long off the back of the rim. Battle able to grab the board, and Caicedo bringing it up. Kicks it out to Crane. She's going to try to get it to Scott on the cut off the hands. Love wants to run. She's got Pehadzic and just leaves her a little bit too much, and it's a turnover from the Doors.
And Love was already struggling to pick the ball up there, so I think she kind of tapped it out. Little Rock caught a break there.
A little bit out of control from Vanderbilt.
Little Rock's going to set up here.
Little Rock working down the shot clock to 10 now. Caicedo spin move, kicks it out to Crane.
Great kick out.
She'll take that one all day from 17 feet.
That's just a nice way for Caicedo to break down the defense and kick the basketball out to Crane for that one.
Crane now with 21 points as Little Rock has made 4 of their last 5. Love pulls down the rebound, goes back up with it. She's going to get that one to go.
Caicedo tried to block her out there, but Love was just too big for her.
Hey, you got a battle down there when you're 5'3". Scott has that one stripped on the way to the basket. It's going to stay with the Trojans.
19 seconds on the shot clock.
Brianna Crane has really come on here in this fourth quarter. She's tied a career high in points. She's got 21.
Also number 44.
Back-to-back double-digit games for her.
Number 23, Coy Love comes out.
She's doing great at knocking shots down for Little Rock. That mid-range is just a great thing.
And something that Little Rock really struggled to do last year was score, and not having any trouble scoring here this afternoon. Scott with a new career high. That is 26 points for the Little Rock native. One of the things that Joe Foley really loves about this team is that they're able to score from 4 positions.
Great help defense by Little Rock there.
Little Rock been successful on both ends of the floor today. That is the 16th turnover by the Commodores. Crane getting it down to Battle, kicks back out to Caicedo. Getting into the paint, and Bowman, 5'3" against 6'6". That is pretty much always going to go the way of the 6'6" player as Little Rock has a 73-61 lead. We're back after this. Arkansas before starting conference play on January 1st at UT Arlington. Trojans up 73-61 midway through the fourth quarter, trying to hang on here for what would be a big victory, and that is a new career high for Brianna Crane.
Vanderbilt went man there, and Crane just took advantage of Hall's size. And that's what makes her so good, is she's able to step out on the floor and take it into the post.
Oh, a chance. Giving it over to Bartram. Darielle Johnson able to deflect the pass.
Coy Love, number 23, back on the floor for the Commodores.
Little Rock leading 75-61 with 4:24 to play, and the Trojans closing in on the most points they've ever scored against an SEC team. That was 80 points against Texas A&M back on December 15th, 2001. It's been a while. Caicedo over to Scott. Scott with a game-high 26 points for the Trojans. Little Rock really working down the clock now as that's a turnover into the hands of Bartram. Getting it into Love in the post. She works on Johnson. Had Johnson beat to the bucket, and Johnson's going to get called for the foul.
Love one with the offside hand there. Left hand layup on the right side. Just came a little short.
Love has had a quiet 17 points today. 7 of 16 from the field.
Shooting foul, Coy Love will shoot 2 for remaining.
She led Vanderbilt in scoring a year ago as a freshman. She averaged 13.7, so above that average here today. Important to remember, Love is just a sophomore. Out of Orlando, she was rated as an ESPNW Top 100 guard coming out of Miami Country Day. Certainly looks to have a bright future for the Commodores. She gets both of those. 75-65 Trojans here in the fourth quarter. Dorian Kraft joined alongside by Kyra Collier. Myra Caicedo dumps it off to Kristen Barnes.
Dumps it off to Barnes, and she finished around the 6'6".
That's a big body you've got to navigate around down there in the post. Renee Alexander. Miss Love on the back cut. The 17th turnover of the day for Vanderbilt.
Just slight miscommunication, but that's something that they'll probably fix here with getting a little bit more experience over the season.
Crane over to Scott. Battle now. Scott's gonna let it fly, just falls off the edge of the rim. Chelsea Hall pushing the pace. Pehadzic off the back of the rim. Love is the one that comes away with the rebound. Bourne's going to get tapped for the foul. And Kyra, I know we're getting close to the end of the game, but as a player, you know, is this in your mind? At what point does it start to creep into your mind that you're up 12 points on an SEC opponent and there's only a few minutes left in this game?
You just got to play hard to the finish here at the end. You have almost 3 minutes left, and you run the clock out, you take good shots, and you just close the game out. But you just have to play very smart, especially playing against such a good team.
Love points out a wet spot right around the foul line. We're going to go ahead and get that cleaned up. Just under 3 minutes left. It's, in fairness, there is still 3 minutes left. I know it's a 12-point game, but that's not out of the realm of possibility for this Vanderbilt team that likes to push the pace, likes to go ahead and put up shots. Because Love knocks that down from the free throw line. And the one thing that you don't want to do if you're the Trojans, you don't want to foul and give Vanderbilt opportunities to score while the clock is not running.
And you don't want to take quick shots. You want to take good, solid shots and play sound defense.
And that is where the experience of this team comes in. Vanderbilt looking to trap. A little bit of a hectic pass into the hands of Marie-Amber Scott. It gets back to Caicedo. 10 on the shot clock. Scott blocked by Bowman. It's going to stay with the Trojans.
And you see here they're kind of letting the shot clock run, moving the basketball around, and waiting until about under 10 to get a good shot.
Every possession, you got to take time off that clock. If you're Little Rock, if you're Vanderbilt, you're trying to cause a turnover. 3 on the shot clock. Scott got to put it up. It's going to be a shot clock violation for Little Rock. They're not able to get a shot off, and if you're Vanderbilt, that is absolutely the defensive possession that you needed in that situation.
It definitely is. I think Vanderbilt was ready to run a bit, though.
That's the unfortunate part about the shot clock violation. If you get that, then you got to have a dead ball. You got to bring it back. You kind of get out of that rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, you have to stop the game.
The 12th turnover by Little Rock is Vanderbilt trying to get some points, and that'll work. Pehadzic.
Great pull-up.
17 points for the fifth-year senior out of Denmark. Vanderbilt.
And when you're Little Rock, that's what you don't want. She picked the ball up coming right across half.
Yeah, Crane picked the ball up just inside the half-court line. Vanderbilt there for the trap, and Joe Foley has to burn a timeout. As you'd have to expect that the Doors are going to get more aggressive here on defense in the final couple minutes of the game.
And that's what we're seeing here. They're pressing the basketball full court, and they were able to get a great...
Vanderbilt in a man defense. Scott out at the top of the key. Into the hands of Caicedo on the wing. 11 on the shot clock. Caicedo going towards the rim. Not able to finish, but Bournes gets the rebound. I don't know if it was a block or it got impacted by Bowman, but the 6'6" freshman able to alter Bournes' shot. And Vanderbilt able to hold Little Rock without a point for the last 2+ minutes. Got to get something going, though, as that shot by Pehadzic off the back of the rim. Chelsea Hall pulls up for the 15-footer. That one is good. 7-point game, but there is a minute to play.
Slight hesitation there by Hall, which results in her getting a pull-up. And Vanderbilt will start fouling here.
Vanderbilt trying to extend the game down 7 with 56:9 to play.
And they still have a couple of fouls to give here, so.
30 seconds.
We'll be
Inside 1 minute.
And Kyra, if you're Vanderbilt, other than foul, what can you do here?
quick trap or quick steal is what you have to go for.
You saw them try it on Crane. She was able to get it into the hands of Caicedo, and they're forced to foul, but
yeah, Coach Foley is probably telling her to stop coming across half in that corner. Perfect place to trap there for Vanderbilt.
you can't give Vanderbilt opportunities to trap. If you're Little Rock, Bella LaChance comes in
Correct.
for Hall.
And we'll probably see them try to get it into Scott here for her to go to the line.
If you were Little Rock, I'm surprised you're not trying to get the ball into the hands of Teal Battle.
Well, I think you're looking at Scott, who's a pretty experienced player, used to taking big shots and making those. So
Go with the hot hand.
go with the hot hand. I mean, she has 26.
She does have 26, and she is 5 of 6 from the line, so that'll work. Caicedo 0 for 2 from the line as she makes that one in a big moment.
And she stepped up.
Little Rock has shot 75% as a team from the free throw line today. One of 2 from Caicedo. Vanderbilt coming up the court into the hands of Love. And it's going to be a turnover. And there's the foul on Scott.
She was going to find the ball somehow.
And the foul starts to Enna Pehadzic.
We talked about staying focused. If you're Little Rock, you're starting to feel it now?
Her third.
38 seconds left, starting to feel it now?
I think they're getting a little antsy.
5 fouls on this. Shooting 2 for the Trojans will be Brianna Scott.
I know that Joe Foley has had a lot of big wins in his career here at Little Rock, but the Trojans struggled so much last year. They had such a young team. Kyra, what is, assuming this score holds for the next 38 seconds, what does this win mean to this program so early in the season?
It just means you're back. Last year was a pretty tough year, so just being able to come in and get such a big win over an SEC team is great for the school. I mean, it's great for the fans. It's just exciting to see for the city.
Love gets the bucket. Little Rock trying not to foul now as the shot clock is off. Vanderbilt's going to get Caicedo going up the floor. Caicedo has set a new single game record for assists in this one. She's got 14. Her second straight double-double for the Trojans. Makes the first of 2, and that ties a Trojan record for the most points ever scored against an SEC team. The last time that happened against Texas A&M, who Little Rock will play on Thursday. That was all the way back in 2001. And there it is. That's a new program record for points against an SEC team with 81. Bartram long on the 3. Scott is going to be fouled by Love.
That foul is on number 23.
And Little Rock just 18.2 seconds away from just their 5th win over an SEC program in their history.
I'm pretty sure they'll be excited after this one.
You can't get too excited because you got to turn around. You got another SEC foe next Thursday in Texas A&M.
Hopefully it gives them a bit more confidence.
A confidence builder for sure, but you know that Gary Blair is going to pay attention to what happened here today.
Yes, he will.
You take a look at Briamber Scott, 27 points, a new career high for her. 7 of 9 from the free throw line, make that 7 of 10. 16 seconds left in here inside the Jack Stevens Center. Love takes it to the rim. 24 points for her. Battle going to hold the ball. Vanderbilt will not fall, and Little Rock pulls off the win over Vanderbilt. They take it 82-74 here inside the Jack Stevens Center. Kyra, you've seen a lot of Little Rock basketball. How big is this win? How important is this?
It's huge. It's an SEC win. So, I mean, just getting that win over them will take that in the conference, and it'll be great to see them play.
All right, so for Kyra Collier, I am Dorian Kraft saying so long from the Jack Stevens Center, where the final score is Little Rock 82, Vanderbilt 74. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.